Through majestic forests, alpine valleys and crystal-clear lakes, following the trails of wild animals, in search of rare birds, in places where no man had set a foot before. Precious, magnificent nature, in all its diversity and grandeur, in the documentary series, Kazakhstan's Wildlife Sanctuaries. Kokshetau is the land of pure springs, beautiful lakes and green forests. Picturesque Kokshetau landscapes are often compared with the nature of Switzerland. We continue our journey through Kokshetau National Park. This time, our expedition visited Arboretum branch. There are several one-of-a-kind nature monuments and historical and cultural complexes. One of the popular sites is a local country-old Arboretum. The history of the Arboretum begins in 1898. Pan Kranovsky, retired colonel, was sent here to Arboretum forestry by the Empress Catherine II. This is where he worked, introducing new breeds into small local birch forest. Seedlings were brought here from Omsk by horses. Spruce saplings were planted along the main avenue, stretching from east to west. Planting work started in 1905. Nowadays, the park covers an area of almost 29 hectares. More than 30 different kinds of trees and shrubs grow on this area. There are Siberian larch, fir trees, birches, aspens, linden, poplars, and numerous fruit trees among them. Also, there are many lilacs, acacias, as well as raspberry, currants, and other shrubs. The Arboretum has historical value. It's also a great recreation place. I used to come here as a child, and I brought my kids here too. This place is just beautiful. The house of Ayganim, the grandmother of Shokan Walihanoff, Kazakh scholar and enlightener, is located near Sirumbet village. This is a great example of wooden architecture of the 19th century. Ayganim was one of Wali Khan's wives. She was an educated woman and had a significant place in society. Her pine wood winter house was designed by Russian engineers. The same material was used to build the barn, storage buildings, and a barnyard. Near the house, they built the mosque and madrasa. Nowadays, more than 1,000 people visit this museum complex. There is another historical monument on the territory of Arboretum branch, the Bowtie Settlement. An archaeological expedition of North Kazakhstan University is undertaking their excavations here since 1980. Viktor Zybert is leading the work. Bowtie Settlement is unique in itself, because this is where people domesticated horses for the first time in history. This fact is astonishing, and it's not just any industry, it changed the way people lived. They were the first horse breeders. 99.9% of all bones found here were horse bones. Bowtie Settlement occupies a flat area on the right bank of Iman-Burluk River. Archaeologists found a large number of outbuildings, furnaces, pits, bones, and tools. Dwellings have rounded shape and resemble nomadic huts. The first stage of taming a horse belongs to the period when fishermen and hunters moved towards a more settled way of life, began working in groups. Over time, people learned to breed horses. This was the second stage of horse domestication process. 6,000 years ago, the climate of the steppes was more humid, allowing for abundant vegetation. The grass reached 2 meters in height. Millions of horses inhabited these lands back then. In addition to signs of horse domestication processes, we also found traces of horse milk inside ceramic vessels. Our colleagues from England proved that traces of milk were found in old dishware of Bowtie culture. It could have been kumis. The archaeological work at Bowtie resulted in isolating it into a separate archaeological culture. This is where the countdown of development of the steppe civilization began. Historical significance of Bowtie culture is in fact that it marked the beginning of a new era for humanity. It denoted the shift from on-foot walking era, in which humans lived for millions of years, to using horses as a means of transportation, sufficiently increasing the speed of life, of information flow. From 5 kilometers, humans were now able to cover 27-30 kilometers per hour. This has made a revolutionary change in daily lives of the people, in the way humans interact on a worldwide scale to the history of our land. In 2000, the territory of archaeological complex Bowtie was added to specially protected zone of Kokshetau National Park. The area was isolated with conifer hedge. Cattle, vehicles and tractors are strictly prohibited to enter the area of 29 hectares. We are very grateful that this organization let us live in this forest. We didn't take this opportunity to simply exploit this beautiful habitat for our own benefit. We put our love and efforts in preserving this nature heritage as well. Archaeological excavations will continue. So far, only 100 out of 800 dwellings were studied. One of the tourist routes leads to Bowtie Settlement. Future plans include creation of open-air museum of archaeology. Open-air museum area will cover 62.5 hectares of land. This is a very large area which requires a lot of work. During summers, we work together with archaeologists. It's very interesting.
Занимаемся, совместно работаем. Нам очень интересно.
We are heading to Arboretum Hill. It's one of the natural monuments on the territory of Shalkar branch of Kokshetau National Park. A beautiful view opens from the top of the hill. You can clearly see lakes Shalkar, Arboretum and Samal. This natural monument consists of 2 peaks divided by a col. People named the hill Two Brothers. In the days of Junkar-Kazakh wars, the shape of the hill gave a birth to a legend about 2 Baturs. It is about 2 brothers who lived in a distant past. The brothers challenged the enemy when they attacked our lands. Brothers fearlessly fought until the enemy fled, but both were wounded by arrows and died. 2 hills appeared on the place where they passed away. Their little sister's grief was so strong that her tears formed a salty lake at the foot of Arboretum Hills. The number of visitors vacationing on Lakes Shalkar, Baisaria, Kol and Lobanov reaches 12,000 during the summer season. Lake Shalkar is the most popular one. Local residents think it's unique. The water in the lake is salty on the northern side and fresh on the southern side. We have many tourists from abroad, from Russia, from distant cities of Kazakhstan. Why? Because our lake has curative features. Since the water is salty, the mud on lake shores is therapeutic. There are many water birds on the lake. Small flocks of graceful swans, numerous mallards, ducks and geese swim nearby. Soon their instincts will force them to migrate to warmer corners of the earth. The sunset radiates over the Lake Shalkar. What a beautiful view! This is what nature lovers come here for. The next morning we headed to Arikbalik branch of Kokshetau National Park. Forest management is the main activity of this division. Particular attention is paid to protecting forests from fires. Today, the fire station received a fire alarm. A pile of mowed grass caught fire in the steppe zone next to the forest. A small fire truck, a tractor with a plow, and firemen equipped with firefighting knapsacks rushed to put out the fire. The flame was extinguished in a matter of minutes. It's extremely difficult to put out steppe fire. Why is it so? Because here we have Kazakh hammocks and multiple hills. Sometimes a fire truck simply can't pass through. In that case, we use blowers and firefighting knapsacks. We had 3 motor pumps. One of them is equipped with an 80 meters long hose, which makes it easier to access the fire. Tree diseases are yet another enemy of the forest. 10 years ago, the Birch Forests in Arikbalik branch suffered from severe epidemic. After the sanitary logging in 2007, the area was replanted with birches. Since there is a settlement nearby and a path for cattle, the recreational load was high. Therefore, we made a decision to fence the area. After that, we planted trees, thus restoring the forest in a degraded area. To facilitate the needs of forest restoration within the division, they organized a tree nursery. Pine trees and several kinds of deciduous tree saplings are growing on a territory of 2 hectares. This is enough to restore our forestry and other forests for planting the area. We also have forest nursery with an area of 16 hectares, with a department accessible for school children, where we have cedar trees. The total area of forests in Kazakhstan is only 5%. That is why the work of every nursery in cultivating forest species in national parks is so important. We are very proud of the fact that saplings from our national park are supplied to create green belt around our capital Astana. Lake Imantau is located on the territory of Arikbalik branch. Its total area is about 5,000 hectares. Sandy beach stretches along the shore. On the other side of the lake, you can see rounded granite boulders. Why was it named Imantau? According to our ancestors, it was named after Imanbay Batyr, who fought Jungars here in these steppes. According to one of the legends, he is buried somewhere around here. There are 6 large lakes on the territory of Kokshetau National Park. All of them were formed in the Ice Age. The system of lakes as we know it today was formed as a result of glacier movement. From the side of Arikbalik branch we have lakes Logovoye, Chokar and Loban. It might have been a single ecosystem million years ago. According to traces on rock surface, these hills and mountains were formed as the glacier was moving down. Kazantau, or as people call it Kotilok, is the highest mountain in this region, 621 meters. Our journey has come to an end. we are leaving this wonderful hospitable land, enchanted by its stories and nature. There are many more secrets and mysteries of nature in Kokshetau. They are to be discovered by curious and fearless travelers.